So this video and series is brought to you by EA Game Changers. Just want to say a massive thank you to EA for making this one possible. Hope you're going to enjoy the video. So, hello there everyone and welcome, it is Aniran here, and today it is my pleasure to be able to bring you some early FIFA 19 content in the form of a Liverpool career mode series. I've always wanted to do a series with the team that I support, and finally I'm able to do that. This series is going to be brought to you by EA Game Changers. I want to say a massive thank you to EA and everyone working on FIFA 19 for giving me this opportunity to be able to bring you some content really early. Going to be doing at least double uploads for the next 8 days after going to Berlin and getting all sorts of gameplay and footage and videos for you all to watch. It's going to be absolutely insane, and this series is going to be sick as well. If you're subscribed to the channel already, you might be wondering where the Wolves series is that I was talking about before. That is going to be coming out when the game is fully released. And if you're new to the channel, then make sure to subscribe. You're going to be seeing all sorts of FIFA 19 career mode content over the course of the entire year. So I'd really appreciate it if you hit that big red button under the video and stick around, because I can already tell you this series is insane. It's not live comm like the usual style of career mode series you'd see on this channel. That's because it was super noisy. There was lots of other YouTubers around and the background noise was pretty horrendous. So obviously I want to bring you guys the best quality possible, including in mic quality as well. Now you'll have seen the preseason tournament we chose. It wasn't the most valuable in terms of prize money, but I thought it was the one that we could very, very easily win. And you can see now in the background is the squad. It is a stacked side, this Liverpool team. Obviously the likes of Alisson, Nabil, Fabinho, etc. coming into the side during the summer means this team is already a force to be reckoned with without even really having to make too many signings. However, you will be seeing a decent chunk of transfers in not only today's episode, but also in episode number 2. So let me know if you're hyped for that, and drop a like on this video if you are excited for all the signings that are going to be coming in the course of this series. You saw some training there in the background, just using the opportunity to train the likes of Joe Gomez and Alexander-Arnold and some of the younger players in this side. However, not everyone has a place in the team, and in the background is the transfer list, and it is extensive. I realise there's some controversial ones on here, but I wanted to have a lot of fun with this series and bring in some new players and get rid of some of the dead wood, the likes of Mignolet, Lallana, Dejan Lovren, Matip, Karius, Moreno, Markovic and Grujic all up for sale in this save, and hopefully we'll be able to get some good money for them so that we can bring in some new signings. And speaking of new signings, the money that we'll be using to do such signings is on the screen. Our budget is £94 million and a wage budget of 277k. So you'll be seeing some transfers a little bit later on. For now, obviously, let's have a little focus on the Champions League briefly. That is obviously the main thing that's been added to career mode this year, is the Champions League rights, and it looks really cool. You can see the draw in the background sees us against Atletico Madrid, Shakhtar Donetsk and Belenenses of Portugal, and we'll be getting into some Champions League stuff in episode number 2. Today's episode is all about starting the Premier League campaign and making some signings. Before any of that though is pre-season obviously, and we're in the Invitational Cup trying to earn as much prize money as we possibly can to be able to buy some more players in this summer transfer window, making a very good start in the tournament by facing Olympique Marseille and thrashing them 4-0. Goals for Roberto Firmino, Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, and a brace for Sadio Mane completes a very convincing victory. Our second game up against Suwon, I think of the Korean League. It might be Japanese League. I always get the J League and K League mixed up. We actually draw that game though 1-1, which is a bit of a shame. Dropped points there, but still in the ascendancy. And then another 4-0 victory in the third game against the Saudi Arabian side means we'll be going through into the semi-finals of that tournament. Now, money-wise, we're balling. I'm not going to lie to you. We're on £103 million with prize money. And as you can see, we're going in for a very high-rated player. We're not messing around, ladies and gentlemen, in this series. Paulo Dybala is the first player we are going to go in for. Now, I already know we can't complete this signing just off of face value. We can't just put in a transfer fee. We're going to have to trade someone here. We try Loris Karius. Juventus understandably aren't too keen on bringing a German into the club. I don't really want to get rid of too many of the higher value players in a trade deal because the AI tend to overspend sometimes when it comes to buying your players, so I'm trying not to put in someone too expensive. So we put Marco Grujic on the line along with £100 million. They want Grujic and 153 mil, and it's just not going to be possible. We don't have the money right now. If If we can try and bring in Paulo Dybala at a later date, once we've sold some players, we will try. But for now, it doesn't look as if that signing is going to be possible. I would like someone in that striker role just for a bit of depth. Obviously, in real life, Liverpool tried to sign Nabil Fekir to fill that role just because Firmino is pretty much our only main striker at times. If Sturridge is injured, which he so often is, it can be difficult to replace Roberto Firmino up front. So we'll work on that in a second. In terms of the pre-season tournament, we've actually gone ahead and won it. We beat Schalke there in the final after Benfica in the semis, and we've got all the prize money we possibly can get. It's come at a cost though, because Trent Alexander-Arnold, our main right-back, is now out for 5 weeks, which is quite the shame. He will be back, I think, a couple of games after the start of the season, or if he recovers quickly, he might just be back for that first game. Now, I mentioned Nabil Fekir earlier on. We failed with our bid for Paulo Dybala, but we can still try and go in for the Frenchman playing for Lyon. We offer Adam Lallana going in the opposite direction, who's worth £14.5 million himself. On top of that, they are wanting 47 million, so by no means a cheap deal here for Nabil Fekir, especially when you consider Lallana is going to the French side as well. But we go ahead and accept that. Fekir is a very good player with a very good potential, and he's going to grow in this season alone. He should get to a high-rated 80s overall just at the end of this season, regardless of the future of the series and the save. So at this point now, we've agreed a fee. It's now time to go in for a contract offer for the very talented Frenchman. He wants Crucial as a squad role. That is absolutely fine. He's going to be playing a lot of games, either as a central midfielder or as a striker if Firmino gets injured or whatever. Contract length of 5 years is what Fekir wants, which is nice to see because I often found last year younger players were only wanting 1 or 2 year contracts. It seems like EA have fixed that this year, and you actually get younger players getting longer contracts, which is what you would see in real life. We offer 125k as a wage and a signing bonus of 1.1 million. It's not quite what Fekir was hoping for, but he is willing to accept it, and he becomes our first signing of this career mode save. There you can see him in the background, 85 overall, 4-star skill moves, high attacking work rate, really good attack position, agility, balance and strength as well. His vision and passing stats are good, his dribbling is good, his pace isn't too bad as well, and he should be very easy to utilize during the course of this series. If we're going to sign a lot of other players in this one, though, we're going to have to move some players off the books, and unfortunately, it's still pretty hard to do that on FIFA 19. For those of you that were hoping this sort of situation was gone completely, unfortunately, it isn't. You can see there that Mignolet's transfer talks are broken down, and this was a theme of the entire window. I won't show it because it could make a video of its own, to be quite honest with you. We did, however, talk to the developers at the Game Changers event over in Berlin, and hopefully that has been made a note of and will be at least a little bit more manageable when the full game comes out, if they can patch it or whatever, and hopefully it'll be a little bit easier to sell your players. With that in mind, we did manage to sell one player, and that was Dejan Lovren. £21 million, or 21.5, sorry. We got £18 million for that. So with one centre-back out of the door, it means that Matip and Joe Gomez really are our next main centre-backs. So really, we need to bring in someone else, and Mats Hummels, the 29-year-old from Bayern Munich, is the one that I am going to be going for. As you can see, we offer Joel Matip as an exchange deal. However, Bayern are wanting £71 million on top of that. This deal makes sense. Matip is only 81 overall, and Hummels is obviously 89. Can you imagine that centre-back partnership of Virgil van Dijk and Mats Hummels? It would be probably illegal in the majority of countries. We'd probably be kicked out of the Champions League because in some of the countries we wouldn't be able to compete with that back two as a centre-back partnership. However, we're still going to risk it, and we're going to try and bring him in, and as you can see, we agree the thick end of £61 million plus Joel Matip. That would leave us with £26.8 million as a surplus budget after this deal, and obviously there's still quite a few players that we need to sell at this point. Moving on to contract negotiations, and you can see as far as a wage is concerned, his current one is 150k. We are obviously going to give him Crucial and a 3-year contract. That makes sense for his age and obviously how good he is and his status. He's going to come in and be the best player in our team, along really with Mohamed Salah. In the background, though, you can see though he's wanting a bit of a wage increase, and obviously those bonuses are going to cause quite the hit to our transfer budget. 170k is absolutely fine. It's only a 20k increase, but the signing bonus of 1.8 and the appearance bonus, crucially, of 4.8 is going to be huge. So I've got to take that off. I can't lose £5 million for free because he is going to play that amount of games unless he gets injured. So instead of losing that money from the transfer budget, I decided to remove the bonus and then bump up his wages quite a lot because we've got a bit more of that to play around with. He wants 250 than 10k, along with the lack of bonus, and we are okay with that. We're going to go ahead and agreed that. So Mats Hummels now becomes our second signing of this transfer window, and that is £100 million spent already. How long has it been? It had been less than 10 minutes at the time that it occurred. So Hummels and Fekir are into the side, and this team is starting to look very dangerous. In real life, the Liverpool side, in my opinion, is one that can challenge for the title anyway. The addition of Fekir and Hummels into the mix is going to cause Premier League defenders absolute nightmares. I'm not going to lie to you. So after we focused on a bit of transfer activity there, it's now time to get into the first game of this series. But a very successful pre-season, but now it is time to make it count out on the pitch in the Premier League as we face West Ham United in the first game at Anfield. Obviously, in real life, this game ended 4-0. It'll be quite a difficult task to score that many goals and win by that sort of margin in this game, because for those that don't know, I'll give it to you straight, a bit of a spoiler alert, FIFA 19 is a lot harder than FIFA 18, so I think winning 4-0 in this game might be quite the challenge. Meanwhile, in the background, you'll now be seeing Mats Hummels and Nabil Fekir making their debuts in this game. So moving into the first 3 minutes of this one, and Mohamed Salah has got some space down the right-hand side, lovely little McGeady spin inside, cuts back away from Carlos Sanchez into Fekir, and Fekir, 4 minutes into his debut, has grabbed himself a goal. Against all the odds, and to everybody's surprise, Nabil Fekir, in front of his home crowd, has made the best start to life at Liverpool he could possibly hope for, with a really nice drilled finish into the bottom corner on his left foot from the edge of the area. Takes a slight deflection off the West Ham defender there, Balbuena, but it sold Fabianski for chips. He can't get down to it and save it at his bottom left. And Nabil Fekir, inside 5 minutes, has opened his Liverpool account. What a start to life for him. Alisson, however, is having a bit more of a tricky start to Liverpool life there, watching the ball sail over his head, thankfully harmlessly, as we were able to deal with it in the end. Salah's cross almost turned into a shot, and Fabianski had to tip it away from Sadio Mane. 20 minutes into the game, though, you can see a corner getting swung in. Van Dijk, even with his tall frame, unable to get to it, but Hummels now lays it off for Trent Alexander-Arnold to hit from range, and it's 2-0 inside 20 minutes. Trent Alexander-Arnold with an absolutely unbelievable strike from outside of the area. It's an absolute rocket. And we've scored twice inside 20 minutes, and both of the goals have been brilliant. We saw a fantastic assist from Salah and a brilliant finish from Fekir for the first one, and now we've got an absolute thunderbolt from Trent Alexander-Arnold. It's perfect to squeeze it in between Felipe Anderson and Angelo Ogbonna, and we are 2-0 up in incredible circumstances with some great goals. This is incredible. I mean, I said it wasn't going to be easy, but at the moment we're doing a very good job. Arnautovic causing us some issues. Alisson just calming his defence down after that defence splitting through ball. But West Ham seem to be a little bit more into the game now. Lanzini down the left-hand side, set away by Felipe Anderson. Great ball in, and Arnautovic is there again. It's third time lucky, though, this time for the Austrian. And he manages to get himself on the score sheet to halve our lead and to halve West Ham's deficit. Bit disappointed with Virgil van Dijk, if I'm honest with you. His positioning needed to be better there. He's great in the air, but he found himself just not really knowing where Arnautovic was. The Austrian got off his shoulder and managed to put the ball into the back of the net. It's been a really entertaining first half, though, so far. 3 goals already, and another chance there for Salah, saved by Fabianski. Right on the edge of half-time, West Ham have got themselves a free kick. Arnautovic lays it off for Felipe Anderson. It's blocked there by, I think it's Salah in the end. Alisson comes and claims, and that is the end of our first half in this Liverpool FIFA 19 career mode series, and it's a successful one so far. Lots of positives to take, but would have liked to have that clean sheet going into the second 45. Regardless of that conceded goal, we're still going forward, and Fabinho there with the strike forces yet another save out of Lucas Fabianski in between the West Ham sticks. Now onto the hour mark, you can see Firmino trying to get away from his man. Naby Keita bursting into the area and again stinging the palms of the Pole Lucas Fabianski. We're really on top at the moment. The momentum is certainly with us. Fekir with a nice turn into Keita. Now Sadio Mane bursting inside. He's brought down. Firmino puts it in, but the referee had already blown for a penalty. Bit of a controversial one there, because Firmino had actually scored after Sadio Mane was brought down. It didn't look as if the keeper would have saved it. I'll take the penalty, but it's a little bit frustrating, especially if it's missed. Fabinho, the new boy from Monaco, is going to be the man to step up and take it. Can he put it into the back of the net? Yes, he can. He sends Fabianski the wrong way, and he restores our 2-goal lead here. It's a really nice penalty, actually, and I like this. It's a bit of a different, technique to what you would see on FIFA 18. He's fully yammed it into the corner, to be honest with you. No finesse there. Fabinho has laced it right into the right-hand side corner. No chance for Fabianski, and we are now 3-1 up. West Ham coming forward, though, with Yarmolenko, and Arnautovic sides it in first time. And, well, the 2-goal lead once again didn't last all that long. West Ham giving us issues once again. Again, not great positioning from our centre-backs. Maybe Hummels and Van Dijk struggling to gel together in their first game as a centre-back partnership, because at the moment they've been at fault for both of the goals. 3-2 then going into the final few minutes, and West Ham are going forward here into injury time. Ball into the box for Yarmolenko, and thankfully it is headed wide with the last action of the game. We just about cling on to the 3 points and take a 3-2 victory in an extremely entertaining first game of the Premier League season. It is a win in our first game in charge, and it's Trent Alexander-Arnold who is your man of the match. 9.2 for him, joint with Salah. Great ratings as well for Fekir and Fabinho, the 2 other goal scorers in that football match. But what a start to life as Liverpool manager. Great win there, but really entertaining against the AI, which you didn't usually see on FIFA 18. Lots of goals, lots of highlights, and in the end, 3 points in our first game. Simon Mignolet unfortunately won't be seeing any other action from the sidelines. He has been sold to, was it Roma, I think it was? I can't quite remember, but you'll have seen it in the email. He's been sold. He is out of the door. And now, before this episode ends, it's time to just sim a couple of Premier League games. First of all, away from home against Crystal Palace. This game ended as a 1-0 win. No, 2-0 win, sorry. Sadio Mane scored right at the end in real life. And as things stand at the moment, it is 0-0 going well into the second half. 15 minutes to go, though, and Xherdan Shaqiri acts as a super sub, coming off the bench to grab us a 1-0 win then in that first sim. Second sim is going to come at home against Brighton here. This should be a much easier win. Obviously, simming at home is a lot easier than simming away on FIFA career mode usually, and as you can see, it's not taken us as long to grab the first goal of the game. 23 minutes in, and the unlikely source of Andrew Robertson gives us the lead. A bit more of a likely source in Mo Salah doubles our lead just 4 minutes into the second half, and Sadio Mane makes it even more comfortable in the 66th minute to give us a 3-0 lead. Can we make it 4 right at the end? We don't in the end, but it's still a very comfortable win. 3 goals and 3 points against Brighton to make it 3 wins from 3 in the first 3 games of this season. Alberto Moreno has also been sold now. He has gone. £7.7 million. He's off to Fenerbahce to be our 3rd player to be sold in this transfer window. That's 2 in the shape of Fekir and Hummels, and 3 out in the form of Moreno, Mignolet, and also Dejan Lovren, which leaves us with this transfer budget, £40 million and 112k in wages. Still looking very healthy, if I may say so myself. That's very decent, to be honest with you, at this point in the transfer window with the players that we've already brought in. So very happy with that. Should mean we can make a decent chunk of signings again in the next episode. Hoping to make maybe 3 or potentially even 4 signings going ahead into the next one, especially with the players that we have to sell. But that, though, is going to wrap up the first episode of the Liverpool career mode here on FIFA 19. I hope you guys have enjoyed it massively. If you have, slap a like on it, subscribe if you're new to the channel. It really helps me out. It's the big red button under the video, so I'd really implore you to do that if you haven't already and you like what you saw. I am massively hyped to see how this series goes and see what happens during the rest of it, and I'm sure you guys are